Ever wondered what it really takes to live on drastically less? I mean, be way less than you probably think is possible.
Yeah, like no takeout meals, no random little impulse buys online.
Exactly. Just this intense focus on, minimizing waste. It's a level of disciplined, intentional frugality that kind of challenges everything we think of as normal spending.
It really does. It forces you to question, like, what's your baseline? What actually feels necessary versus just, well, something you want.
Absolutely. And that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking at a really fascinating piece of source material called A Day of Extreme Frugality.
Right. And this source, it gives us this almost fly-on-the-wall look at someone named Jordan who is actually living this way, like really doing it.
So our mission today really is to walk through what a typical day looks like for Jordan based on the source material. We're going to unpack the details, but also get at the philosophy behind it.
Yeah, figure out the specific choices that make this kind of ultra minimal spending work. It's not just what he does, right? But also why it feels sustainable and, according to the source, actually rewarding for him.
Right, rewarding is a key word there. And the source introduces Jordan as an extreme frugalist. It mentions he's dedicated to intentional extreme frugality. That word intentional, it just keeps jumping out.
It seems crucial.
So we're basically going to follow the timeline the source lays out, starting super early in the morning, then looking at meals, how he gets around, what happens midday,
Wow.
how earning and saving fit in, and then, how the day winds down in the evening. We'll try to unpack the specifics, the actual how-to behind each step Jordan takes.
And also try to understand the mindset, maybe, that perspective shift that allows this whole lifestyle to feel like, well, freedom, not restriction, as the source suggests.
Exactly. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's unpack this. The day, as described in the source, it kicks off incredibly early. We're talking 5:30 a.m.
Yeah. What's the very first thing? What does this extreme morning routine look like?
Well, right off the bat, you see that intentionality we were just talking about. The source says this early start isn't just random.
Cool.
No, it's specifically chosen to, quote, maximize daylight and reduce electricity use. So it's a direct action tied straight to saving resources, saving cost.
No mention of, hitting snooze or easing into the day with gadgets, then.
Not a bit. The source describes the morning hygiene routine, brushing teeth with, get this, baking soda and cold water.
Baking soda, wow. And cold water.
Yeah, a pretty stark contrast to, fancy packaged toothpaste and using energy to heat water first thing.
Definitely. What about his phone? Is he checking it?
It mentions he has an older model, maybe 6 years old, and it's used minimally, like a free alarm app, but that seems to be about it. No subscriptions, no constant digital noise demanding attention or money.
Okay, now here's a big one for a lot of people, including me. Coffee. Does coffee still make the cut in this extremely frugal routine? The source does mention it.
It does, but naturally it's done frugally.
Of course. How?
Well, the strategy described is bulk buying coffee grounds, but only when they hit rock bottom sale prices. And brewing using a secondhand French press.
Secondhand?
Yeah, the source has this great little detail. He apparently found that French press for just $2 at a yard sale.
$2. See, that detail, it makes it really tangible, doesn't it? It shows how every single small acquisition, every tiny saving is a conscious thought and effort.
Exactly.
Okay, so after this very lean morning setup, the source moves into meals. Breakfast and meal prep. It says around 6:30 a.m. What's on the menu? How is food handled?
Well, breakfast is incredibly basic, but also resourceful. It mentions oats with frozen bananas.
Okay, sounds simple enough.
But here's the interesting part where those bananas often come from. The source says they're often saved from ripened fruit others toss.
Whoa, okay. So right away, you see that strong, no food waste principle really driving the choices.
Absolutely. And then the midday meal gets tackled at the same time.
Lunch prep right after breakfast.
Yeah, lunch is prepped in bulk. The source lists staples like rice, beans, frozen veggies, the basics. It's all home cooked.
Reinforcing that no takeout, no food waste idea again. Everything planned, maximized.
Right. I remember the source even mentioned something about how he organizes the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
Meticulously labeled, portioned out. And get this, he even saves vegetable scraps, specifically to make soup stock later.
Wow.
That level of detail, it's not just about being neat, is it? It shows how that principle of every bit counts is applied, like literally, extracting value from absolutely everything.
Okay, let's jump ahead a bit in the timeline. 8:00 a.m. transportation. The source makes a very clear point here. There is no car.
Correct, no car. The primary ways of getting around described are biking or walking.
Okay.
If public transit is like absolutely necessary, a bus pass is used. But the source is specific. It's a discounted monthly rate planned ahead to maximize those savings.
And the why behind ditching the car. That feels pretty foundational to this whole lifestyle, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. No fuel costs, no insurance payments, no maintenance bills, no parking fees.
Yeah, that adds up.
It really does. The source points out these are areas where the savings add up fast, and they're continuous savings month after month. It's a really direct link between making that one choice, no car, and gaining significant ongoing financial freedom.
Moving into the midday then, around noon. The source describes lunch being eaten outdoors.
Yes, typically in a place like a public park or, some similar free space. And the source frames this nicely. It's not just a place to eat his prepped lunch, but it's described as being free and also peaceful.
Ah, interesting connection.
Yeah, it subtly connects the financial saving not paying for a space with a non-monetary benefit, finding peace outside of some paid environment, like a cafe or restaurant.
And this is also the time, according to the source, when Jordan might check things like buy nothing groups. What are those exactly?
Right. This brings up a really important point about resourcefulness being like a direct alternative to purchasing. These are community groups, often online, where people just give away items they don't need anymore for free.
For free?
Totally free. The source mentions Jordan finding all sorts of things through these groups, everything from clothing to functional appliances.
Okay, what really stands out to me in the source reading about this was the anecdote about some of his best free finds. It mentioned a perfectly working microwave
Yeah.
and a high-quality winter jacket.
Yeah.
Things people often spend significant money on. It completely shifts your perspective on how you get things you need, doesn't it?
It really does. It moves you from that default thought of, okay, I need this, I have to go buy it, to actively exploring, wait, how can I acquire this without spending money? It definitely requires patience, flexibility too.
Okay, let's fast forward to, say, around 3:00 p.m. The source touches on how earning money fits into this picture, alongside continued saving hacks. How does lean earning, as it calls it, work?
Yeah, it's described as lean earning to go alongside the lean living. The source mentions a few things. Activities like maybe flipping secondhand items found cheaply, or even free.
Like from those buy nothing groups.
Potentially, yeah. Or maybe thrift stores, also taking online surveys, doing small digital tasks, things like that. They aren't huge primary income streams, it seems, but the source frames them as small money but consistent.
Interesting. So it's not just about slashing expenditures down to the absolute minimum, but also about layering in these minimal flexible income streams too.
Precisely. And the saving hacks, they just keep going throughout the day. Laundry, always air-dried, never a machine dryer. Utilities like electricity and water are kept, quote, as low as possible. Every bill is scrutinized, minimized. It's like a constant vigilance.
Okay, so by 6:00 p.m., we're at dinner time. The source implies dinner is maybe even simpler than lunch.
It certainly sounds like it. The example given is soup made from veggie scraps.
From the scraps saved earlier.
Exactly. It's homemade, designed to be filling, and as the source puts it, it's practically free because it uses what most people would just, throw away. It feels like a creative act born from necessity.
And the lighting situation in the evening,
Yeah.
that's also pretty unconventional.
Yeah.
Based on the source.
Right. Instead of just flipping on the overhead lights, the source mentions using solar lamps charged during the day, obviously, or maybe candles.
Okay.
And this choice, it's explicitly linked in the source to two things. One, obviously conserving energy, but also, interestingly, a deeper idea of being present. Dimmer, more natural light perhaps encourages a different, slower pace.
Which makes sense then why there's no mention of watching TV or using streaming services in the evening.
Confirmed. The source says none are used. Evening time is described as being spent on things like quiet time, reading, journaling,
Low-cost activities.
or listening to audiobooks, but sourced for free from the library.
Yeah.
Activities that are either free or very low cost, and they encourage reflection rather than just, passive consumption.
That brings us pretty much to the final wind down, around 8:00 p.m. or so. The source describes this phase as feeling almost meditative.
It really does emphasize that focus on non-monetary activities and internal reflection. Reading a book, maybe one found at a thrift store, writing thoughts down in a simple dollar store notebook.
Yeah.
And the source includes a really powerful line here, which seems kind of central to the whole philosophy. Peace isn't bought, it's built.
Ooh, I like that. Peace isn't bought, it's built. That really encapsulates the shift in thinking, doesn't it?
It seems to, and the source actually asks directly, what's the biggest mental shift required for this kind of lifestyle?
And what's the answer given?
Jordan's answer, as presented in the source, it's very direct. It's challenging, actually. He says, you have to stop chasing comfort through consumption.
Stop chasing comfort through consumption.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's not just a financial change at all. It's a complete reframing of where you look for security, for well-being.
Exactly. So if you view it through that lens, frugality isn't actually about deprivation.
It's about freedom.
That's the core message the source really seems to land on. Frugality is freedom, not restriction. It's positioned as a deliberate, intentional choice. A choice to step outside that conventional cycle where, more comfort is constantly sought by earning more just so you can spend more.
So let's recap then. We've walked through this day described in the source material, from that super early utility-saving wake-up call.
Right. Through meals created from really resourcefully sourced ingredients, minimizing waste at every step.
Alternative transportation, avoiding car costs completely, finding free activities and even goods midday.
Layering in those small, lean earning streams, and ending with these quiet, intentional evenings focused inward or on free resources like the library.
It paints this picture of a lifestyle built entirely on conscious, deliberate choices. Every single action seems to prioritize actual needs, resourcefulness, and minimizing external costs over, say, convenience or comfort that you buy.
Yeah, as the source summarizes it near the end, it's less about being cheap in that negative sense and fundamentally about being intentional.
And the really powerful idea presented is that this level of intentional frugality, for Jordan at least, isn't experienced as restriction. It's experienced as freedom.
Freedom from big bills, freedom from debt, maybe even freedom from that constant societal pressure to acquire, to consume, to keep up.
But it does require that pretty significant mental shift, doesn't it? Moving away from equating comfort only with consumption.
Definitely. And the source really leaves us with that potent thought we mentioned. Peace isn't something you purchase off a shelf. It's something you actually construct. You build it through the deliberate choices and actions you take day in and day out.
Which brings us back to you, the listener. Reflecting on Jordan's day, as it's laid out in this source material, what did it make you consider about your own relationship with spending? About what you truly believe you need?
Yeah, what does comfort or security or even peace really mean to you? And how much of it maybe are you trying to buy versus trying to build yourself?